What is the value of a relationship today? What is the value of having a woman in your life in today's modern environment? And that's what we're going to be discussing today, my friends. This came up because I've noticed a very common theme amongst the comments for all of my videos. Because the large majority of the comments are from men who have said the juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Men are now at a point to where they're walking away and they don't mind being alone. Y'all have messed it up. Women, a lot of us have messed it up. And like I said, even surprisingly to me, like, I was noticing and seeing so many men, like, I desire family. I desire commitment. I desire marriage. I desire to have a woman. I want to provide for a woman, take care of a family. Like, men have been wanting that. But now you're starting to see more and more men become more and more comfortable with the idea of not having any of that, because men are valuing and desiring their peace over everything else.
The effort that a man has to put out in today's environment to attract a woman who brings so much less to him than their mother and their grandmother combined isn't worth it. In other words, it's called hoflation. For those of you who don't understand what that means, the women today have literally lost their value while simultaneously asking more money to be with him, demanding more from that man than her mother and her grandmother demanded in her days from men. So men are just saying, yeah, really, it's not worth it. And we're going to go through this in detail because I want women to understand that this isn't men who are walking away for no reason at all. These are men who say the product is not what I'm interested in. Because women have to understand that men invest in a woman's future. When a man gets with a woman, he is investing in her. That's what a lot of women don't get.
What's going on with women these days? We used to be a lot happier than men, and now we're not. What happened?
What you've found is that over the past 20 years or so, women have converged downward to the unhappiness levels of men. And at first I thought, great, men are getting happier. Women are getting unhappier. That's what we find. And they're getting unhappier very quickly. And so there's a lot of different theories of it. You find that there's a lot less family formation going on. There's a lot less marriage. You find that men and women are diverging politically really, really quickly. You find that women are getting much more politically progressive and men are getting more conservative. And so the result of it is that, especially in a culture where people think that the most important thing for making a romantic match is voting for the same party idiotically, social media is especially targeted at young women. It's creating a whole lot of misery with the social comparison, with political hatred, with the sense of loneliness that's crawling out of people's smartphones. And all these things together are creating an epidemic of unhappiness among women, especially young women in our society today.
But now men are saying, there is nothing to invest. I don't see what I should invest in because I don't see how I'm going to get a return. Because I don't see where I'm going to get a return. The risk is way too high. Because even if the woman commits today, this is what we end up with.
Being happy is not enough of a reason to stay married because happiness is fleeting and no one is ever happy 100% of the time. You can be happy, truly happy, when you initially get married and then you find things out, and it makes it that much more heartbreaking and that much more devastating because no one gets married wanting to get a divorce.
Yes, women get married with the option of knowing full well that if she gets a divorce, she'll be well off. So I can tell you, lady, don't try to bullshit us. Every woman considers divorce when she gets married. Every one of you. And you know why I know this? Ask that woman to sign a prenup. Ask that woman to sign a prenup and watch her reaction. Why should I sign a prenup? You don't trust me? Yeah, I trust you, but I want to make sure I cover my ass, and I want to make sure that I'm not a slave to you in the courts when you go through your moods. Well, you should trust me. No. In other words, she knows that she wants that option, that whenever it comes to the divorce, she wants to be well taken care of. And she knows that daddy government is on her side. So she's not going to give up that trump card of a prenup. Simple. This is what every man envisions. going to the end, the very end with this woman, taking care of her, both of you taking care of each other. This right here. That's how every man looks at his wife, right to the end. But for every woman, I'll just go until I feel like I can't take it anymore. Because this is what we get right here. Divorce AF celebrating. Congratulations. When I got divorced, I had a roller skating party. Rolling on. Yay! The reason why she can celebrate is because she just took half of the man's wealth. She won. She wins in divorce. So now that I've set the tone for you ladies to understand why it's a bigger risk, I want to show you straight up front from my comment section what men are saying. The Silent Investor 01 said, I think men should focus on building a life that keeps him happy. Hobbies, finance, health, etc. If your world is all about women, you are heading down a black hole. Be strong out there, brothers. There are thousands, tens of thousands of messages over the last 3 years that I've gotten. Now, this is a gentleman responding to me after I am out there trying to tell men how to keep the female attraction to you. This one came from Eternal Truth 1666. I agree that your method used to work years ago, but today's women have so many options, and they know they can do better than you anytime they choose. An exception might be after they hit the wall, but by that time they have been so strong and independent for so long, they might want a relationship with an average man as long as it's convenient. But she views it as optional. There are a very small amount of women that want to build with a man, but these days most women just want the guy at the finish line. They want the benefits of living a luxurious lifestyle on their terms, as long as it's convenient for them. Yes. That's how men are thinking, because they can see these things right up front. Men aren't blind. Men are hunters. We see what the women are doing out there and how they treat all the men, what they're saying, and the men are responding in kind. This isn't rocket science, my friends. This is simple. And women think that they can just get out there and celebrate divorces and, oh, you could leave the good guy and you could do all of these things. And we're not observing and learning from this information. I want a 666 guy. I want a bad guy. Jesus, never finishes. Race 353 said, old man, anytime any woman says anything in your head, finish her sentence with, right now. I love you right now. I'll follow you wherever you go right now. Every word is a lie. Every emotion is conditional, because that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing, ladies. How can I tell him he's wrong when I see the same thing?
Okay, so I just saw a post out here on TikTok land that stated that 80% of men no longer desire to date. 80%, that's closer to 100%. Okay. And I would say to go out and research it on your own to find out if in fact it is true. My question then is posed to women. What do you do with that? Because even though 80% of men no longer desire to date, do they also no longer desire to have sex? Because and a woman's responsibility to protect her honor in terms of having sex. Now, as for me, I'm at the age where I don't care, okay, because I don't have to date, I don't have to be in a relationship. But there are women out here who are still in their childbearing age, and they may want to marry, they may want to be in a relationship, right? They may want to date. My question is posed to those women. What do you do with that information? Because remember, just because they no longer desire to date doesn't mean that they don't have a desire to still have sex.
This grown-ass woman, how can you ask such a stupid question? Reality of it is men always want sex. And as long as we got broads like you just giving it out because you don't care, right? You're past menopause. You're still out there giving it out. That's what I got from this conversation. You're single. You're still out there doing your thing. You're probably, late 40s, early 50s. men will take sex from wherever he can get it, lady. And if it isn't old broads or fat broads giving it away free, he'll pay a nice looking one. Pay for it. It's temporary. The man will pay the woman to leave. It's not paying her for sex. He's paying her to get the hell out once he busts his nut. That's what he's paying for. So you have to understand the difference between sex and a relationship. Most men nowadays are not interested in a relationship, especially if you can't offer him a child. What else are you offering him? Because a little wet hole really has no value to men these days because women have made it so damn cheap.
The people who are complaining, aka women, are to blame. Sorry, I have to say it. You are the reason why these stupid ass men are acting like women. They want to be treated like a princess. They want to be chaste and they want to be adored and desired because of you. Because you're giving up your panani for fucking a beer and a pizza. Sometimes they don't even take you out to dinner and you still give it up because of your low standard. You chase a man. If he doesn't text you, you text him. Oh, why can't we be together? Why can't you do better? Why can't you treat me right? You're giving me crumbs. Like, stop talking.
Davanel said, and he responded to my comment in one of my videos when I said, women are only adhering to their nature, which is they need to find a man to survive. They are only as loyal to the man who could provide for her, simply because she has to survive. And he said, I call BS on this one. If I can't blame her for following her biological nature, then she can't blame me for sleeping with more than one woman. That means that while monogamous marriage things goes out of the window too, we are evolved humans who are asked to overcome our biological desires. Every day, women have to do better. And he's right. For all of those women who think that they should not stay loyal to their man and keep monkey branching to a better man, have to hold on to those desires. She has to crush those desires in order to be a good woman. Because in turn, she's asking the man to be monogamous, to fight his urge to procreate, to go out there and she's asking him to, hey, shut that pants down. You can't go out there and keep sticking your dick in every single woman that you see, even though that is man's natural desire. Men are made to procreate. That's why he produces 750 to 1 million sperm cells per day. Women produce 1 per month. And it's dormant until his life sperm hits it. That shows you the significance of a man's sperm. And we're still talking, and here's another response from my loyalty video that I posted. And I'll put the link here so you guys can go and watch it if you haven't seen it yet. Research women's loyalty during the Great Depression and World War II war brides. A woman only needs a man by what he can provide. Only by what you as a man can provide. That's it. And it's a fact. That's why a woman will leave a broke man. That's why a woman will leave a man who's terminally ill. She will jump ship to find another man that can provide for her. And that is the problem that we're going to see in today's environment. As more and more men leave the dating market, leave the marriage market, what is going to happen to all of these single women who are the net spenders, who require a lot more money to maintain their lifestyle? These are the women who do not put anything away for a rainy day. These are the women who don't invest. These are the women who spends every single freaking dime on her lifestyle. The brunches, the traveling, the food, the clothes, the latest fashion, the Uber rides, the car maintenance because she don't have a man, staying in good, better neighborhoods because she cannot stay in a bad neighborhood being single on her own. She's lonely, so she spends more money on food. She have high student loan debt. These are the women that do not put anything away. They have no disposable or no discretionary income left over after they have done excessive spending. Multiply that over 30 years where she's single. Guess what happens when she hit her 40s and 50s? Freaking broke as shit. She has no money put away. Nothing hasn't been invested.
I just heard this girl's video about, she said, how if you're single and all alone and how are you staying afloat financially? I'm underwater right now, for sure. Just saying. I have cut my bills down. I have canceled my cable. I have a change jar for real backup with like $300 in quarters in my change bucket for emergency eating. Okay? We don't turn on the heater, the air conditioner. We turn all the lights off.
She never had a man there to split bills 50-50 or pay for 100% of her bills. She wasn't capable of locking down that man because she had her fun. She spoiled herself. She became the rotten fruit sitting at the bottom of the fridge because back in her 20s, she thought she would have her whole phase and all of that fun stuff. God forbid if she ended up being a single mom. So what happens to those women when men say hell no? Yeah, daddy government has to step in. Alberto Santos says, you are there because you are useful. In other words, she's using you. Yes, in fact, it is true. What makes a man is a useful man. There is no bigger insult than you can give a good man is to tell him that he's useless. Whew, that bites hard. Whew, that hits you hard, man. Someone who tells you that you're useless? Whew. Men have to be useful. Yes, we know that she's going to use us. However, we are supposed to get something in exchange. Her loyalty, her womb, her untarnished coochie, her ability to be a good companion. These are all the things that she is supposed to reciprocate with, whereas a man would be happy to be useful to her. But the woman never comes with any of this shit these days. So men are saying, this ain't even worth it. It's not worth it. I get nothing back? Hell no. Not investing in that. Gudetama Egerson, wow, says, I work with a 66-year-old gentleman that got a brain aneurysm 2 times in a span of months. After the jibby jabby, I assume that means the COVID jab. Guess what? His 26 years marriage disabled wife decided after his semi-recovery. He needed to sell his paid-off apartment and cars to split it 50-50 with his lovely wifey. He's a renter now. Fucking brutal. Yeah. When a man has become useless, even after 26 years of being with this man when he was youthful, that tool is no longer working. I need to get out. To hell with that till death do us part shit. Now I gotta sit here and freaking take care of his drooling ass? Nope. Didn't sign up for that. It's time for me to have some fun. Because she never sees the future, man. All she's seen now is, hey, I'm in my 60s or in my late 50s. I'm going to take some of this money that I'm going to get from this divorce and I'm going to go traveling and I'm going to go do this and then I'm going to get another man. That's her dream. So she'll go and she'll blow a lot of that money, end up broke. This poor man now he has to rent.
It's a PSA for all of you married women who are thinking of divorcing your good husband, the perfect husband, but you don't know what's wrong with him. Let me put a warning out there. There are plenty of other women waiting for him to be released from your clutch. Okay? So before you divorce that so-called perfect man, you said so yourself, there are other women waiting for the chances to slide into his DM. And then when that happens, 2-3 months down the road or even a year, don't get upset. Okay, don't come online and say, oh, he's such a narcissistic guy who move on to his new supply, infatuation supply. Shut the fuck up, okay? A lot of you are not qualified to diagnose narcissistic behavior. A lot of you women over here are narcissistic too. So don't get Pikachu face when the man is immediately picked up from the streets, you know? You guys say, oh yeah, from the street. And then you guys got so jealous. I've seen this video, this lady. Oh, he is now, move on with the new wife. And he's narcissistic. Bitch, please. You just upset that he moved on before your ass. Had you moved on before him, or you would be showing off the, oh, look at me. Yeah. Keep playing. A lot of you Western women play too much. I don't know who I am at 32. Bitch, if you can't figure your shit out at 32, you need Jesus.
Oh, that's brutal. Oh, I love her, man. Exactly. Men are waking up and realizing, hey, there are women overseas that work this shit out. There are women over there that will take my aneurysmic brass. She will work with me. She will work with me. Hey, don't get it mixed up. She knows she's also getting something as well. Because even with his broke Western ass, he's making 10 times more than a middle-class guy in her country. So she knows she's fine. So she has no problem taking over where these so-called Western women left off. And yeah, she's right. Then they get all upset.
Creating this perfect facilitation. 50.1% of women, for the first time in history, there are more childless women at 30 than there are women with children, right? So for almost all of human history, more women had kids under the age of 30 than over. And now it's switched. There's a study from Morgan Stanley that says by 2040, 45% of 25 to 45-year-old women will be single and childless. If online dating was creating this perfect facilitation for relationships to start, how are we ending up with all of these outcomes? One of the biggest levers, in fact, the single biggest predictor of your health outcomes in life are the number of close connections that you have. It's the number of friends. It's more than quitting smoking. It's more than going to the gym. It's more than stopping drinking. It's the number of close friends that you've got. And a relationship is a big close friend. Robin Dunbar says that in order to get into a relationship, you have to sacrifice 2 friendships because you can have around about 5 very close friends. If you want to get into a relationship, you need to get rid of 2 of them because there is a minimum time investment. So people that are in relationships have better health outcomes. They have onset of dementia later. They have Alzheimer's problems later on in life. They are less lonely. That seems pretty uncontroversial. And yet both sides of the aisle, both men and women, are retreating from relationships and finding ways that they can justify this. Boss bitch culture and sort of the lean in women's mentality, or men going their own way, and incel culture and the black pill for guys are both ways that each sex is trying to deal with the challenges that are coming out of the mating market.
And he's right. Both parties are retreating. But the biggest issue that women have to identify, especially all these women who claim that, oh, there's no good men, you are the one that have changed the dating market. Your standards, whatever the hell that is, your demands for what a man should provide for you has increased so much, and it's impossible for the large percentage of men to even reach close to what you're demanding. And then you think that you can get it on your own. So you put all of this effort into college and profession and job and working. And then, of course, you have to show off to the sisterhood. So while you're doing all of these things to become the boss bee, you're also spending a shitload of your money, your disposable income that should go to investments. You're not investing anything. You're just spending because you need to show the sisterhood that, hey, look at me. I'm doing it. And I don't need a man. And in the meantime, you're getting older, you're expiring, and the men that you want don't want you. And you never wake up and realize that until it's too late. Even the good guys, the solid guys, right? The guys that you would not even look at, the secure guys that would treat you good, they are now waking up and saying, yeah, this is not worth it, man. Because they're listening to other channels like this. They're seeing the examples of what other men are going through because men are talking to each other and women are boasting about the nasty things that they do to men. This combination have made these men look at women and say, shit, why the hell would I do that? Why would I jump into a marriage? Man, last night I had a chat with a gentleman, Africa, real African American, meaning he came from Africa and came to America to work, but he holds dual citizenships, right? He's retiring now in his late 30s, okay? Retiring in his late 30s. I spoke to him a year ago, and now he was back just to tell me, give me an update. Because he went through a divorce. He didn't lose anything. He was smart. But now he decided he's not going to get married again. But he met a woman in Africa, and he said, I want to have another child. So he decided to put her up in a nice house that he bought. And he had a domestic contract drawn up by 2 lawyers who put it together for him, right? And she was a single mother. She had a child when she was young. But he said, she's a good woman. She's a decent woman. He knew her from childhood. And he basically said, I would love to have a child with you, but I'm not interested in getting married. I'm not getting married. And because she saw that her prospects, now that she's 33 years old and she had her child when she was 20, she realized that, shit, no men have stepped up and I'm 33. I can't put this off any longer. I have to make a deal with a guy. I have to make a deal. And so they made a deal. She agreed, okay, no marriage, but you have to sign this agreement. And he WhatsApped me the contract because I asked him, I said, brother, you are the living example of what I am trying to explain to men. In today's modern environment, I don't recommend you getting married. Don't do what I did because I number one, I got a rare one. And number two, I come from a lot of experience from previous marriages. I know how to work this thing well, and I'm protected financially. So my situation is quite different. But how can I recommend marriage to a young man in today's environment looking at the women of today? I cannot do it. I cannot do it and sleep well at night. So he said, brother, I can send you a copy of this contract if you want to share it with any of your listeners. And I said, beautiful, man. Send it, please. Send it. So I told him I will just strip out the names, etc. And if you want a template of a domestic contract where you're living with a woman, but you're not marrying her, you want to have a child, that's the only reason you would do something like this, and to save on expenses, then email me and I'll send you a copy of this thing, man. Paul@askanolderman.com. Paul@askanolderman.com. I will send you a copy of this contract, no problem at all. Okay? Gentlemen, this is the only way that you can protect yourself and still have a chance to pass on your biological seed. Okay? Live with them, cohabitate, know the laws of your country or your state. Make sure that you can use that domestic contract in your state and let her sign it. If she don't want to sign it, then no deal. The benefits to her is that she gets to save 50% of her bills or more, but you don't have daddy government on her side when she decides she had enough. I think that's the only way that you guys can get some remnants of a family without full commitment, because it is very dangerous in today's environment with today's women, because they are not traditional, but they want you to be traditional to them. And men, gentlemen, we can't take that risk, okay? There's so many more comments here, man. I wish I could run this longer, but listen, we got to cut it short. Subscribe, my friends. Hit that like button on the way out. Let's continue this conversation in the comments section. Gentlemen, these are rough times, but all you need to know is you can adapt to these times. All right? So, my friends, until tomorrow, remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you soon. Cheers.